The ultimatum. The morning sky above Geneva turned black as shadows fell across the United Nations building. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the emergency command center window, watching massive shapes emerge from what moments before had been empty space. The Vorthak Empire's fleet materialized like dark thunderclouds, each vessel larger than anything humanity had ever conceived. The alien ships hung motionless in Earth's atmosphere, their hulls gleaming with a metal that seemed to drink sunlight. The largest vessel stretched nearly 40 kilometers from end to end, dwarfing the International Space Station that now looked like a speck of dust beside it. Admiral Chen counted over 2,000 ships in perfect formation, their presence making Earth's most advanced military technology seem like stone tools. Dr. Marcus Webb burst into the command center, his usually neat appearance disheveled from running through the corridors. The quantum physicist clutched a tablet displaying readings that defied every law of physics he understood. The energy signatures from these ships registered numbers that should have been impossible. Their power output exceeded the combined energy production of every nation on Earth. Admiral, we're completely outmatched, Dr. Webb reported breathlessly. Their smallest escort vessels generate more power than our nuclear reactors. The mathematics are terrifying. We're looking at technology that's centuries beyond our capabilities. Admiral Chen nodded grimly, her experienced eyes taking in the tactical display. 20 years of military service had taught her to assess impossible situations, but nothing had prepared her for this moment. Earth's combined space fleet consisted of barely 300 vessels, most designed for research and asteroid mining rather than combat. The communication arrays worldwide suddenly activated simultaneously. Every television, radio, smartphone, and military channel received the same transmission. The voice that spoke carried authority that seemed to echo from the depths of space itself, cold and mechanical yet unmistakably alive. Primitive inhabitants of the third planetary body, I am Prime Commander Zextal of the Vorthak Empire. Your species has been selected for integration into our dominion. You possess certain qualities that make you suitable for service within our vast civilization. The alien commander's words sent chills through every human listening. Prime Commander Zextal continued with the tone of someone announcing weather conditions, rather than the fate of an entire world. You have 72 standard time units. To comply with the following terms: dismantle all military installations immediately. Surrender all weapons technology to our collection teams. Prepare your population for relocation to designated work colonies throughout our empire. Your compliance will ensure the preservation of your species in a productive capacity. Admiral Chen exchanged glances with Dr. Webb as the transmission continued. The aliens' casual mention of work colonies and relocation made their intentions crystal clear. This wasn't conquest in any traditional sense. This was harvesting. Failure to comply within the specified time frame will result in planetary sterilization. Your world will be stripped of all useful resources and your species will be classified as incompatible with imperial purposes. This communication constitutes your final notice. Compliance procedures begin immediately. The transmission ended, leaving only static across every frequency. Within minutes, chaos erupted across Earth's surface. In major cities, crowds flooded the streets in panic. Stock markets crashed as automated systems registered the unprecedented threat. Emergency sessions convened in every capital but the IR. Mathematics were simple and terrifying. President Elizabeth Harper sat in the reinforced command bunker beneath Washington, her face pale as reports streamed in from around the globe. The world's most powerful leaders found themselves facing a decision no human had ever contemplated: submit to slavery or face extinction. Madam President, General Viktor Petrov's voice crackled through secure communications from the Pentagon's deepest levels. Our combined nuclear arsenal couldn't damage their smallest support vessel. Their energy shields deflect everything we have, including our most advanced penetration weapons. We're essentially throwing rocks at armored vehicles. Meanwhile, Captain Rosa Martinez prepared her squadron at Edwards Air Force Base, knowing that Earth's finest pilots would be flying what amounted to suicide missions. Her F-35 fighter jets represented the pinnacle of human aviation technology, but against alien vessels that could manipulate space itself, they were little more than elaborate toys. Listen up, people, Captain Martinez addressed her pilots in The briefing room. I won't lie to you about our chances. These aliens have technology we can't begin to understand. But they made one critical mistake. They assumed we'd surrender without a fight. They don't know what they're dealing with. Her pilots, men and women who had trained their entire lives for aerial combat, faced the reality that their enemy operated by rules that defied human understanding. The alien ships moved without visible propulsion, their surfaces crackling with energy patterns that made navigation systems scream warnings. Dr. Webb worked frantically in his laboratory beneath MIT, surrounded by quantum computers and theoretical physics equations that might hold humanity's only hope. His research into dimensional manipulation had always been purely theoretical, but desperate times called for impossible solutions. If we can't match their firepower, maybe we can exploit weaknesses they don't expect, he muttered to his research team. Their technology is incredibly advanced, but advancement often means complexity. Complex systems have vulnerable points. His assistants looked skeptical, but Dr. Webb had built his reputation on solving problems that others considered impossible. The quantum tunneling effects he had observed in laboratory conditions might be scalable if humanity could buy enough time to develop the technology. Admiral Chen coordinated Earth's response from the Global Command Center, bringing together military leaders from every nation. The old rivalries and political tensions that had divided humanity for centuries suddenly seemed insignificant when faced with extinction. Chinese generals worked alongside American admirals, Russian scientists collaborated with European researchers, and African engineers shared technology with Asian manufacturers. We have less than 70 hours to accomplish the impossible, Admiral Chen announced to the assembled leaders. Every nation, every military branch, every scientific institution must contribute everything they have. This isn't about politics or borders anymore. This is about human survival. The transformation happening across Earth defied every military handbook ever written. Civilian factories retooled their production lines to manufacture weapons components. Research universities shared classified technologies with former rivals. Space agencies combined their resources to launch emergency supply missions to orbital platforms. Dr. Webb's breakthrough came during the second night of frantic research. His team discovered that the Vorthak ships generated their power through quantum field manipulation, creating artificial dimensional pockets that contained massive energy densities. The technology was elegant and efficient, but it relied on maintaining perfect mathematical balance. If we can disrupt their quantum field coherence even temporarily, their power systems should destabilize, Dr. Webb explained to Admiral Chen through encrypted communications. The theory is sound, but we'd need to deliver a precisely calibrated electromagnetic pulse at exactly the right frequency. Admiral Chen studied the technical specifications with growing hope. Humanity's radio telescope arrays, originally designed to search for extraterrestrial intelligence, could be modified to generate the required electromagnetic interference. The irony wasn't lost on her that humanity's attempt to find aliens might become the weapon that defeated them. Captain Martinez coordinated with space-based platforms to position humanity's defensive forces. The International Space Station had been evacuated and converted into a forward observation post. Satellite networks were reprogrammed to provide targeting data for the coming battle. Even civilian ham radio operators contributed by creating a communications network that the aliens couldn't easily disrupt. General Petrov organized ground-based defenses, knowing that if the space battle failed, Earth's surface would become the final battlefield. Military bases worldwide prepared for siege conditions. Underground bunkers stocked with supplies and weapons became the backbone of a resistance network that could continue fighting even after orbital defeat. The countdown. Timer reached 48 hours when Earth's leaders delivered their unanimous response. President Harper stood before the United Nations Assembly, representing not just her nation but all of humanity. Her words were broadcast across every communication channel, ensuring that both humans and aliens received the message clearly. Prime, Commander Zextal and the Vorthak Empire, humanity has considered your ultimatum carefully. We understand the power you possess and the destruction you could unleash upon our world. However, after consultation with every nation and every people of Earth, our answer is unanimous. She paused, looking directly into the camera that would carry her words to alien commanders and human resistance fighters alike. We reject your terms completely. Earth will not surrender. Humanity will not kneel. We choose to fight for our freedom, our families, and our future, regardless of the odds. If you want our world, you'll have to take it from us. And we promise you that price will be higher than you expect. The transmission ended, and Admiral Chen watched the tactical displays as human forces moved into position. Converted civilian vessels joined military spacecraft in orbit. Radio telescopes aligned their massive dishes toward alien fleet positions. Underground command centers established communication links with resistance cells worldwide. Dr. Webb made final adjustments to the quantum disruption arrays, knowing that his theoretical physics would soon be tested under the most extreme conditions imaginable. His calculations showed a narrow window of opportunity, but success required perfect timing and flawless execution. Captain Martinez climbed into her fighter jet's cockpit, leading humanity's first wave into battle. Her squadron consisted of volunteers who understood they were flying into almost certain death, yet their determination remained unshaken, knowing that behind them stood 7 billion humans who refused to surrender their freedom. The alien fleet maintained perfect formation, confident in their technological superiority. Prime Commander Zextal observed the human preparations with what might have been amusement if his species were capable of such emotions. No civilization had ever rejected Vorthak ultimatums. The mathematical certainty of their victory seemed absolute. What the aliens couldn't calculate was the one variable that had never appeared in their conquest equations: humans who would rather die fighting than live as slaves. The countdown timer showed 36 hours remaining when both sides began final preparations for a battle that would determine the fate of two civilizations. Admiral Chen stood at her command post, surrounded by displays showing human forces taking positions throughout the solar system. The odds were mathematically impossible, but mathematics had never accounted for human stubbornness. Earth's answer to alien demands had been delivered clearly. Now came the time to defend that answer, with fire and determination. The fire rises. The countdown timer hits 0 at precisely 14:32 Greenwich Mean Time. For 30 seconds, space around Earth remained eerily quiet as both civilizations held their breath. Then Admiral Chen's voice echoed across every human communication channel with two simple words that would echo through history: light them up. Dr. Webb's quantum disruption arrays activated simultaneously from positions across Earth's surface. The Arecibo Observatory, Jodrell Bank, and dozens of other radio telescopes turned their massive dishes skyward, generating precisely calibrated electromagnetic pulses that tore through space at the speed of light. The invisible waves struck the Vorthak fleet's quantum field generators with mathematical precision. Prime Commander Zextal felt his flagship shudder as energy readings across his command displays began fluctuating wildly. The quantum containment fields that powered his fleet were experiencing resonance disruptions that his technology had never encountered. Warning signals cascaded through alien systems as power levels dropped to 60%, then 40%. Impossible, Zextal muttered in his crystalline language as his tactical computers struggled to analyze the human attack. Primitive, electromagnetic radiation cannot affect quantum field matrices. Our calculations confirmed this species lacks the theoretical knowledge for such interference. His science officer, a being whose mechanical enhancements gleamed under the bridge lighting, consulted data streams with increasing alarm. Commander, the humans appear to be using radio telescope arrays to generate focused electromagnetic interference. The technology is laughably primitive, but the mathematical precision is extraordinary. They've identified the exact frequency that destabilizes our power systems. Captain Martinez led the first wave of human fighters through the chaos of disrupted alien formations. Her F-35 squadron moved like angry hornets around the massive alien vessels, which now struggled to maintain their perfect positioning as power fluctuations affected their propulsion systems. The alien ships that had seemed invincible moments before now wallowed in space like wounded giants. "Fox Squadron, this is Martinez," she called over the tactical network as her fighters closed on a Vorthak destroyer. "Their shields are down. to 40% power. Concentrate all firepower on structural weak points. Make every shot count because we won't get a second chance at this. Her pilots responded with precision that would have made their instructors proud. Missiles designed to penetrate bunkers found gaps in alien armor that hadn't existed minutes before. The Vorthak destroyer, designed to withstand conventional weapons, began venting atmosphere as human ordnance found its mark. Admiral Chen coordinated the space battle from Earth's command center, watching tactical displays that showed the impossible becoming reality. Human forces were actually damaging vessels that should have been untouchable. The quantum disruption had created a window of opportunity, but she knew it wouldn't last long. All units, this is command. Admiral Chen broadcast to the scattered human forces. Enemy power levels are recovering. We have approximately 20 minutes before their systems stabilize. Make this count. Dr. Webb monitored the quantum field disruption from his laboratory, making real-time adjustments to maintain the interference pattern. His theoretical physics were being tested under conditions no laboratory could simulate, and so far, the mathematics were holding. But the alien technology was adapting, compensating for the electromagnetic interference with backup systems he hadn't anticipated. "Admiral, I can maintain the disruption for maybe 15 more minutes," Dr. Webb reported through encrypted channels. "Their quantum generators are more resilient than my models predicted. They're routing power through secondary matrices that I didn't know existed." General Petrov coordinated Earth's ground-based defenses as alien landing craft began descending through the atmosphere. The Vorthak forces, unable to maintain their perfect space formations, had decided to secure Earth's surface while their fleet regrouped. Massive alien transports, each carrying thousands of troops, pushed through Earth's atmosphere like falling meteors. "All ground units prepare for contact," General Petrov commanded from his bunker beneath the Ural Mountains. "Enemy forces are landing at 17 different locations. They're targeting major population centers and military installations. Remember your training and make them pay for every meter of ground." The first alien troops to set foot on Earth encountered resistance that defied their expectations. Human soldiers fought with weapons that were technologically inferior, but wielded with determination that the Vorthak Empire had never encountered. Every building became a fortress, every street a killing ground. In orbit above Earth, Captain Martinez's squadron had destroyed 3 alien escort vessels, but lost half their fighters in the process. Her remaining pilots continued their attacks, with grim determination, knowing that their sacrifice was buying time for the ground forces below. "Martinez to command," she reported as her damaged fighter limped away from another attack run. "We've confirmed that concentrated fire can penetrate their weakened shields, but we need more firepower to make a real difference. Request permission to initiate Protocol 7. Admiral Chen hesitated for only a moment before responding. Protocol 7 meant ramming attacks using nuclear-armed spacecraft. It was a tactic of desperation, but desperation had become humanity's most effective weapon. "Permission granted, Captain. May God be with you all." The nuclear ramming attacks began 15 minutes after the battle commenced. Human pilots, many of them volunteers from civilian space programs, piloted armed spacecraft directly into alien vessels. The explosions lit up space like new stars, each one representing both a human life sacrificed and an alien ship destroyed. Dr. Webb's quantum disruption finally began failing as Vorthak engineers adapted their systems to compensate for the interference. Alien power levels climbed back toward normal as their technology evolved in real time to counter human tactics. But humanity had used those precious minutes to inflict damage that should have been impossible. "Admiral, the disruption is collapsing," Dr. Webb reported as his equipment began overheating from the sustained effort. "Their systems are adapting faster than I can compensate. We've got maybe 5 more minutes before they're back to full power." Admiral Chen watched the tactical display as human forces pressed their attack with increasing desperation. Orbital platforms launched their entire missile inventories at alien vessels. Space-based manufacturing facilities activated improvised weapons systems. Even scientific research stations joined the battle, using experimental technology that had never been tested under combat conditions. Prime Commander Zextal regained control of his fleet as quantum field generators stabilized and power returned to normal levels. His tactical assessment showed losses that shouldn't have been possible. 17 major vessels destroyed, 43 damaged, and thousands of troops casualties on the planet below. The humans had achieved the impossible through sheer audacity and scientific ingenuity. All units, resume standard formation, Zextal commanded as his fleet began to reorganize. Prepare for planetary bombardment. These primitives have proven more troublesome than anticipated, but their resistance ends now. But as the alien fleet prepared for final assault, Dr. Webb activated the second phase of humanity's defense. While the quantum disruption had been his first gambit, his real breakthrough lay in understanding how Vorthak technology manipulated dimensional space. Hidden throughout Earth's solar system, a network of modified satellites began generating what he called quantum resonance amplifiers. Admiral, initiating Phase 2, Dr. Webb announced as his satellites came online. If my calculations are correct, we're about to turn their own technology against them. The quantum resonance amplifiers created interference patterns that didn't disrupt alien power systems, but instead caused their dimensional manipulation fields to become unstable. Vorthak ships that relied on bending space for propulsion suddenly found themselves unable to control their movement. Vessels began spinning out of control as their navigation systems failed catastrophically. Captain Martinez, flying one of the last remaining human fighters, watched in amazement as alien ships collided with each other in increasingly chaotic fashion. The perfect formations that had seemed so intimidating now became a liability as ships crashed into their companions. Command, this is Martinez. The aliens are losing formation control. Their ships are colliding with each other. Whatever Dr. Webb did, it's working better than our best-case projections. Admiral Chen seized the opportunity, ordering all remaining human forces to concentrate fire on the most important alien vessels. The Vorthak flagship, struggling to maintain position as its navigation failed, became the primary target for every weapon humanity could bring to bear. Prime Commander Zextal found himself in an impossible situation as his flagship lurched uncontrollably through space. His quantum field generators were functioning perfectly, but the dimensional manipulation systems that allowed precise movement had become unreliable. Worse, the cascading failures were spreading throughout his fleet as ships crashed into each other in an expanding chain reaction. Science officer, report, Zextal demanded as his bridge crew struggled to regain control. Commander, the humans have somehow created interference patterns that destabilize our dimensional fields. The technology should be beyond their capabilities, but the mathematical precision suggests a level of understanding we didn't credit them with possessing. Dr. Webb monitored the chaos from his laboratory, fine-tuning the resonance amplifiers to maximize their effect. His theoretical work on quantum mechanics was proving devastatingly effective against technology that relied on manipulating the fundamental forces of reality. The aliens' advancement had become their weakness. General Petrov coordinated the ground battle as human forces pushed back against alien landing parties. With their fleet in chaos and reinforcements unable to land effectively, the Vorthak ground troops found themselves isolated and outnumbered. Human resistance fighters supported by military units began systematically eliminating alien positions. All ground units. The enemy fleet is in disarray, General Petrov announced over secure channels. Press the attack. Eliminate their landing zones and prevent reinforcement. This is our chance to drive them off our world completely. The battle reached its climax as Admiral Chen ordered a coordinated assault on the Vorthak flagship. Every remaining human vessel, from military destroyers to converted civilian craft, concentrated their fire on Prime Commander Zextal's ship. The combined barrage overwhelmed even the alien vessel's restored defenses. Captain Martinez led the final attack, her damaged fighter carrying the last nuclear weapon in her squadron's inventory. As she approached the alien flagship, she spoke into her communication system with words that would be remembered forever. This is Captain Rosa Martinez of the Earth Defense Force. Tell the universe that humanity doesn't surrender. We don't kneel, and we don't give up our freedom without a fight. Her fighter struck the Vorthak flagship's command section, the nuclear detonation severing the ship's control systems and sending it spinning into the gravity well of Earth's moon. The destruction of their command vessel broke the remaining alien resistance as surviving ships fled into hyperspace. Dr. Webb shut down the quantum resonance amplifiers as the last Vorthak vessels disappeared from Earth's sensors. His equipment had been pushed beyond all safety limits, but the gamble had succeeded. Humanity had defeated an enemy that should have crushed them effortlessly. Admiral Chen surveyed the aftermath from her command center. Earth had survived, but the cost had been enormous. Thousands of brave men and women had sacrificed their lives to preserve human freedom. Cities bore scars from alien attacks, and the planet would need years to recover from the battle. But humanity had proven something that would echo throughout the galaxy. When faced with impossible odds, humans didn't calculate probability of success. They calculated the price of surrender and decided it was too high to pay. Earth's fire had burned brighter than alien technology, and that fire would never be extinguished. The universe had learned a valuable lesson about the species that called the third planet home. Humanity could be conquered only by destroying them, completely, because they would never stop fighting for their freedom. And any civilization foolish enough to demand Earth's submission would discover why humans answered ultimatums with fire.